GameScoop is powered by Best Buy, where you can pre-order Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and can play it first at select stores.
Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Hi, listeners.
Hi, listeners.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at GameScoop at IGN.com, just like Cody did. Cody writes in to say,
Cody!
Cody has a good question.
Does he?
It's kind of a serious question. So before we get into that, let me remind you that we have a $250 Best Buy gift card to give away at the end of this show. Stay tuned for that. I wanted to get that out of the way because this question is so serious.
Let me get something out of the way as well.
What, Greg?
I accidentally took 2 of your questions in my Up at Noon script, so they're over there too if you want more questions. I'll be quiet.
Oh, that's okay. Did you talk about them on the show?
No, they didn't make the cut of the Up at Noon news you care about.
Just in case you need more.
Cody asks, what is the game that defines this generation? Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Uncharted, Gears of War.
This generation.
Thanks.
Well, DC Universe Online, of course.
God,
Free to play. Stick with me. Free to play. It's online. What the kids were all about.
You have
this
Stockholm syndrome for that game.
I don't
That's
have.
what
I don't have nothing.
Let me offer a possibility.
Okay.
Is there any game bigger than Call of Duty this generation? Any franchise bigger than Call of Duty?
No, but I mean, how are we defining what defines this generation? Is it just
Exactly.
sales? Because if it's sales, then yes, Call of Duty wins, right?
Mind share with the public.
Well, there's that, and then it also takes advantage of current gen technology, Xbox Live. Like that really wasn't possible before.
See, I think I stray differently here. I think a game like Minecraft
I was going to say Minecraft
defines
too,
this
yeah.
generation because it's like
That could be-
created by a small team of nobodies, suddenly unleashed upon the public who don't know what it is. It doesn't look better than anything else out there. It's small. It's and then suddenly it's this worldwide phenomenon. We don't even know how to cover it because it's so big, and there's people all over the world are contributing to it, and they didn't even know it was a thing 6 months ago. And it's new. It's not even a sequel. It's not like we're putting this out every year. There's no map packs or anything like that. They're just like, here's this big building block set that anyone can enjoy of any age. Here it is. It's only possible now. Like, I don't think this is something that we would have had during the PS2 era or something like that. It just wouldn't have functioned the same way.
Yeah. Another good one to use sort of Greg's idea of something that's like a current trend, not free to play, but I would say The Walking Dead. Like most episodic games aren't up to the sort of standard and quality of The Walking Dead, and most people don't make games in the way that The Walking Dead was created intentionally to be episodic. They typically just ship a product as whole and it's just broken into chapters. I imagine, next generation and as generations go on, we're just going to see more and more episodic content. Hopefully it's as good as The Walking Dead, but The Walking Dead might be too niche. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it the game that defines a generation.
I think you could make a case for Angry Birds.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
The 99 cent
yeah.
apps, the
Well,
thing that is a fucking endless money pile for anyone who wants to reach in.
Let's take a step back. So
you take a step back.
No,
I'm going 2 steps forward. David, I'm in the future.
Like think about it like this: like the games that defined like the '80s were like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, and so like what?
I actually thought about this. Maybe it would help if we go back in time.
Okay.
It's like,
see, that's what I'm talking about. Mr. takes 2 steps
too
forward.
far in the future. Let me tell you what defines the next
if I
box.
thought the game that defined the PlayStation 2 generation would be Grand Theft Auto 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then going back the 64-bit era, I thought maybe Final Fantasy 7.
Mario 64.
Mario 64, hands down.
Really?
Yes.
See, I was thinking that Mario Kart, the original Mario Kart, would define the 16-bit generation.
Oh, the 16-bit? Well, no, we're
I thought
jumping
you said
generations
64,
here.
yeah.
Six.
I said
I'm lost in time.
We're just talking about PlayStation, Nintendo 64.
So to me, it was like Nintendo put out the N64 with Mario on day one, and it was just like, here's how you do a 3D game.
That's true.
And they
That's
dropped the
true.
mic, and no one got it right until GTA 3.
That's
Right.
kind of
If you
true,
wanted to
actually.
say like PlayStation, I would say Final Fantasy VII. So, and for Xbox, obviously, and for that last generation, it's either GTA 3 or Halo.
But I really do think now, like something like Angry Birds and The Walking Dead, what they both share in common is that back in the 80s, you were like, hey, here's this game, it's called Space Invaders. And you're like, I don't really like it. And that was it for you. You were done with it forever. But here, it's like, we're up to Walking Dead episode 4. It's amazing. You need to catch up now. People are like, okay, and I have to get in. We got to try. They just added 80 new levels to Angry Birds Space. Like, it's this piecemeal.
Angry Birds Star Wars.
And yeah, exactly. And it's this sort of piecemeal content of if you miss it the first time, you don't feel like you missed out on anything. You could go back, jump in at any time. The entry fee is super low. Like even with Minecraft, they're like, hey, we added a Yeti or
See,
something.
and that's why I
you're
was
like, I'm
thinking-
back.
I think there's a case for Angry Birds. I think there's still a case for WoW. I mean,
Yeah.
how different is WoW from when it first launched? And it's
yeah.
something that continues to iterate
Yeah.
and continues to be a
Yep.
juggernaut.
Right.
Command, I think,
On the
just
flip
came out.
side, I do really think that there's something to be said. You mentioned Uncharted 3. Something like a game like that where you can sit down and it's this sort of cinematic, almost controlled experience from start to finish in 8 or 9, 10 hours. And it's just like this monumental blockbuster that's only possible with the technology we have now.
And see, what's interesting is like it's so easy, I think, to go back, like to get into take the 3 steps back to do the other generations and define, because we get to see what the future generations took away from that.
Yeah.
Right, that's the thing. When we get when we're ending the
Yeah.
next console life cycle, we will look back at last generation and say, maybe it's Heavy Rain, maybe that kind of choice is what people take into the next era or whatever.
Heavy Rain is going to be the game. that
Call of
defines this
Duties,
generation.
Call of Duties, like doing this half circle stick
Yeah.
to shoot.
It's weird with stuff like Minecraft and Warcraft, though, because PC, like, in our heads, do we define PC generations by console generations? Like
Well, if you're
PC
talking
just
console
kind of-
generation, that's one thing. I mean, if you're talking about the generation of, or the decade, the generation of gamers, like what games they're playing. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, but see, here's the thing, though. We're at the end of a console generation now, and so many of the games that we've been playing recently, especially in the last year or two, are PC games. I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's
exactly. I
just
mean,
a giant
the
renaissance
argument's
for
sort of
PC
moot
games.
too, especially when you're going with, you're saying Call of Duty or something like that, and then you're saying the
Which is on
differentiation
PC as well.
of PC. Yeah, but Minecraft overtook Call of Duty as activity on Xbox Live, and that's huge. That was a nerdy PC game where you sit there, you break blocks. And the first hour I spent playing with it, I dug a hole until I was in hell, and I was like, "Get me out of here!" And my friend Anthony Gallegos, the PC editor, had to he's like, "All right, I'll build a stairwell to get you up." I don't know what the hell I was doing, but kids loved that game, and they're playing it like crazy, and they're playing it more than Call of Duty. So, and it looks like crap. Like it doesn't look like
Yeah.
this gritty.
It's
Not like crap, but it doesn't
Yeah.
look like Uncharted.
Sure, but I mean,
Right.
it looks like
Intentionally,
an N64
Yeah.
game with less fog.
And to your point about if we're talking about platform, I mean, it is on 360.
Greg gets so mad.
I think what.
You're like,
I would
I
say
thought that was funny. It
I would
looks
say
like
we
an N64
probably
game with less. And then but you said fog funny with an accent. 'Cause
Fog?
You're far away. You're from far away.
I think we'd be probably closer to figuring out the game of this generation with Minecraft and Angry Birds than we would with Call of Duty, frankly, which is crazy.
and what does that say, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I mean,
yeah,
we have
I
like
mean-
these like billion-dollar companies are making these cinematic experiences, and in Call of Duty, they've literally rendered every single possible item on Earth and dumped it on a field, and you have to run around it and hide behind it and shoot people.
Right.
And it's $60, and there's next-gen graphics, and there's millions of people playing online, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, or here's a $1 iPhone game where you flick a bird into a wall.
Well, think about this though. To Cody asking this question.
Cody.
Think of all the people who were converted to gaming via iPhone in this generation. That people who were just buying a phone that wouldn't necessarily be playing games. They weren't going to buy a 3DS. They weren't going to buy a Vita, whatever it is. But now they all speak this vocabulary, and Angry Birds is definitely within that. I mean, so many people play those games that wouldn't even know what maybe Call of Duty or even Minecraft might be.
So in that case, I guess the game of the generation is sort of like the gateway drug for non-gamers to get into other games, but that gamers are also enjoying as well. Like something
So
like
definitely Heavy Rain then.
yes, definitely Heavy Rain. Everyone
Everybody
loved
loves
that.
that.
Yeah.
No, I mean that would include something like Tetris. Remember when everyone on Earth was playing Tetris? You'd go on a plane and there'd be like a businessman.
Right. No,
like,
you're
I
right.
never
Absolutely.
even thought you would
Businessman?
play a businessman. Tetris.
No, but Angry Birds is the Tetris or Pac-Man
Yeah.
of this generation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a very,
question, though.
very good question.
Yeah.
One we probably can't answer in the brief time we have today, but
DC
good
Universe
question, Cody.
Kuda.
This is Brandon, and how do you think his last name is pronounced?
This is Brandon Calvillo.
That's right. Hey guys, big fan of the show. Since the PS3 and Xbox 360 are now 7-year-old consoles, and the PS4 and Xbox 720 are seemingly on the horizon, I personally think 2013 is shaping up to be the greatest year for the current generation of consoles, like a swan song, if you will. With heavy hitters like BioShock Infinite, God of War Ascension, GTA 5 coming out next year, it seems as if it seems as if are trying to send these consoles out on a very high note. Do you think that 2013 is going to be the best year for this generation of consoles?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be 2012, but half the games got delayed
Right,
to
yeah.
2013.
That's true.
Yeah.
He left Tomb Raider off the list. He left Last of Us off the list.
Yep.
Right.
That's pretty typical that you see some of the most amazing games of a generation coming out at the very tail end of it.
God of War 2 came to PS2 when PS3 was already on the market. So yeah.
Resident Evil 4 was
Vector
the
Man
last
came
year.
to Sega Genesis.
How can
in,
we
what was
forget?
it, 95,
Conker's Bad Fur Day
96?
on the
Yeah.
N64.
That's right.
Ghost House just sold nonstop during the Sega Master System era, so it didn't matter when it came out.
Ghost House was one of the cards, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Thank you.
God.
Yeah, at this point, the developers know the platforms very well. They know how to make games for it. They know all the tricks.
Yeah, and well, so now part of the question though is, will this be the best year? Now, what would we like up to before 2013? What would we say is like the best year of gaming in this generation?
This
like
generation?
2007, like when
It's always-
BioShock came out, the orange box with Portal.
Yeah,
What else came
I
out?
always
There-
think
I thought the best
2007
year
was
is
a
always
giant
the
year.
year we just had.
2007 was
I think
Uncharted as well.
First
Okay.
Day
Yeah.
in Vegas came out that year too. It's awesome.
Yeah. So let's do the math. 2013, we're gonna have Tomb Raider, which looks incredible. Last of Us,
Yeah.
BioShock, Dead Space 3, GTA 5.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Call me. It's not one of my joke answers either. It's a real answer. Hopefully, no announcements. Nobody knows anything. I would hope Walking Dead season 2, right? Would
Yeah.
be sometime
Yeah.
in 2013.
Yeah.
And you would
They
hope
want-
that
they want to
they
make that
have
money.
learned so much that it runs better than the first season did. And all this
There's
other
no
shit.
way that they're gonna end with the momentum that they have and then not do something next.
I just didn't. I don't know what their production cycle is. I know
Plus-
they announced Fables at the same time they did the original Walking
Right.
Dead, and it's not like where we are now.
Plus, I mean, we haven't heard anything from Respawn, so like, there's probably going to be a new shooter on the market. We haven't heard really any details other than that stuff from that lawsuit about Bungie's new game.
Find out.
Destiny.
Hear more about that on Up at Noon
Okay,
Monday.
right, but still,
YouTube
like,
Not
so,
a whole lot, but you'll hear some.
So
Well,
those-
yeah, I mean, Bungie's on the show. They're not talking about their game.
So I mean, 2013 could conceivably shape up to, an incredible year considering all the great games that we already know about that are coming out. But who knows about the launch titles for the new Xbox and the new PlayStation? I mean, that right there alone could be something incredible as well. Infamous 3, what?
God, I hope so.
Launch lineups generally aren't that mind-blowing, but
No.
PlayStation Vita's was, and it didn't help at all. So there you go. That's
I was
why.
just looking over the Wii U launch lineup and thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I pre-ordered one of these. This is gonna be great. And I went through the list of like what I'm actually gonna be playing, and it was like 2 or 3 games. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll check out Nintendo Land for a little while. That'll be a novelty. I'll dump 30 or 40 hours in a new Super Mario Brothers, and I'll collect everything. And then I'll look down and I'll go, do I want to play Batman again?
No.
No. Rayman was
don't.
delayed until next year. Like, do I want to play Assassin's Creed 3 weeks?
Zombie
later?
U. You got to worry. Do you want to
Zombie
play
U,
Zombie U?
You
exactly.
don't even want to play Assassin's Creed 3 now.
I played a little bit. I'm playing the one on Vita.
Yeah.
So
Do you like it more?
Maybe
did.
the launch titles aren't going to be. I mean, who knows what the launch titles
Yeah,
will be like?
we don't
But
know.
it's just going to add to whatever
It would add
awesomeness
to,
2013 already is. Plus, just new consoles are just. It's
Very
You know,
exciting.
yeah, it's exciting.
Oh
so.
my God! I can store photos on it.
By the way, why is Sony refusing to talk about the most important aspect of the PlayStation 4? Is it going to have printer settings?
I hope. You can only hope it'll have some printer settings in there.
Have you ever printed anything
No.
off your PS4? No.
I've tried to do it on our office network. It just doesn't even
Doesn't
find
work?
the thing.
Oh.
This is Miguel Alonso.
Oh, good name.
He says, "Hey guys, I haven't been watching Gamescube for very long, since it only recently came out on YouTube, but you all seem to know so much about games and stuff. So I was wondering, what kind of games would you recommend for a gamer who's into fighter games, but needs a story to go through as well? I enjoyed Naruto, Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, Super Smash Bros. Brawl Melee, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe."
The regular Mortal Kombat reboot that came out last year
Yeah.
Yeah.
has a ridiculously fun story in it.
Yeah.
It's,
Does it?
It's completely absurd. Like Johnny Cage doesn't know he's fighting in a tournament in hell until like a third of the way through the game. He's like, man, look at that CG.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at those backup actors. And all of a sudden, like sees a guy get his spine ripped out for real. And he's like, holy shit, this is real. I'm in hell. So play that. That's fun.
Similar thing, but I mean, Injustice: Gods Among Us is coming
Yeah.
out next year, and
Yeah,
it's
you can't play that.
it's got a DC.
Yet, but I was going to ask, what about All Stars?
Yeah, is there a story in that?
You want a story in it? I mean, every character has a single player campaign that you play through. But it's it's not like a super. It's a very tongue-in-cheek story of they kind of just know that they're. No, it doesn't have a good story. It has a story. It's not like it's not like an actual
I mean,
narrative.
the best writers on Earth couldn't figure out a logical way to get all those
Yeah,
characters.
why is Sackboy fighting the Bioshock?
I'm really mad at that onion cat.
I'm really mad at that
I
onion
mean,
cat.
typically most fighting games aren't put together or known for their great stories. So
That's true.
the Soul Calibur games
Yeah,
have
I
really
was-
crazy
I was
stories.
gonna mention that.
If you know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to pick up like something that's inexpensive, you could get, the
Well,
last
they
couple
do,
of
but
those.
they do some crazy things. Like they wrote what was it, Ezio into one of them, and
Oh,
then
yeah. Well, they
Link
always
is
do
in
that.
one, and Darth Vader, and they actually find logical ways to weave that into the story. Like the
That's right.
Animus
Yeah,
broke,
Soul
and we
Cal-
gotta
yeah.
really.
Yes, Soul
fun.
Calibur 4 had Darth Vader and Yoda in
Yeah.
it, so if you're into Star Wars, that's,
true.
a
That is
little
not
extra
canon.
fiction. Plus, and it had the Apprentice as well from
Yep.
Force Unleashed.
Of course, WWE 13. So
Whoa,
the Attitude Era.
wait a second. There you go. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Okay. This is John.
Boring name.
He says,
Where's Cody? Cody!
I was wondering if you could define some terms that you guys use regularly.
What
I
behind
haven't
it?
been into following video game news for very long. It would be helpful. What are third-party developers, first-party developers, and AAA games?
First-party developers are internally owned by companies like Nintendo.
Yeah, the publisher owns
by
that developer.
publisher owned. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we use the term second party ever.
We do.
That would be like who? That's like
Yeah,
retro.
I don't think we ever
owned-
use second-party developers. I've asked about that before, but
Yeah.
nobody ever uses that term. There's just first and third-party, right?
Colin uses it once in a while. I believe what it is, it's defined as it would be a third-party developer that's been contracted or paid to only make games for that time. So like Quantic Dream is like
Right,
a second
right.
party to Sony because Sony doesn't own Quantic Dream, but Quantic Dream's only making games for Sony platforms.
Or Insomniac.
For a while,
What
yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
Right.
And now everyone hates them because
Yeah.
they're
Well,
not.
so there are only 3 first-party developers, right?
I'm
trying to make this as simple
There's
for
3
John as
first-party
possible.
publishers, and then there's developers that they
Plethora of
own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like Sony owns Naughty Dog, so they're a first-party
Right.
developer.
So Microsoft owns and publishes content on Xbox, but they also own the Microsoft Game Studio,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be the developer.
I don't think we're clearing it up for John at all.
So what's
Well, that-
what's rare?
Rare is first party.
They're first
owned
party because they're
by
owned.
Microsoft.
And what's retro? Are they also first party? Are they owned by Nintendo? Or are they second
Retro's
party?
owned.
I
Nintendo.
work for the PlayStation team. But like
So-
Visceral Games makes Dead Space, they're a third-party developer.
Yeah.
They have no. Think of it this way: who swears allegiance to whom?
Mm-hmm.
If Visceral swears allegiance to
That
nobody,
is a
make
good way
games,
to-
they make
that
games
is-
for everybody. Rockstar
Yeah.
makes games for everybody.
Or
EA makes
Activision.
games for
They're-
everybody.
they're
If you're
third
making a
party.
game for
Yeah.
a cross-platform game, you're not a first-party
Yeah.
developer.
Yep.
That's a good way to think about it.
AAA game.
It's the blockbuster movie of video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed, millions of dollars go
Yeah,
into it.
yeah,
Assassin's
giant budgets,
Creed 3.
giant teams. There's a big distinction between, Halo or Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed. They have 350, 400 people working on them, giant, 10s, 30s, $50 billion budgets versus smaller indie games that you hear us talk about, like Hotline Miami or even Journey. Like that game company is, a relatively small studio compared to, the companies that are making, the Call of Duty.
And it's worth mentioning that AAA games don't always get AAA scores.
Oh, sure.
Not really worth mentioning.
I
He's
mentioned
not
it.
stupid.
Well, he might be.
He didn't
John,
We had to
write the
explain-
frames
that
and
guy
write
with
the
a name
email.
We had to
like that?
explain a lot of things to him that we didn't really know the answers to ourselves. So
We nailed
That's
it.
true.
I nailed it.
Nailed
You
it.
kind of shit the bed over
Really?
there. Yeah.
Whoa.
All right.
One more email
Hopefully
this
this
week.
one's about, hey, explain cigarettes to me, and you'll be like, well,
I haven't had one in
you
like
got a
6
filter
months.
and you go in.
That would be bad. That's not how cigarettes.
That's not how you make cigarettes?
You don't make cigarettes.
Some people do.
Okay, some people.
Somebody has to make the cigarettes.
Philip Morris has to make the cigarettes.
You can make your own. They make the papers.
You can roll your own.
Yeah.
You can't make your own. Like you have to own like a whole tobacco farm for that. It's a lot of work.
So you're saying if there's a rolled cigarette on the table and I go, who made that? You're going to be like, nobody. I rolled it.
Be like,
but I
well,
didn't
there's a
make
bunch
it."
of different companies involved in that. A company made the rolling papers. There was a company made the lighter. Your mother made you.
You know, Greg, I was going to answer this gentleman's question, but I think he's starting to double dip here. With even like,
Oh.
like another site.
What?
Yeah, he's starting to double dip with another site.
No, this is a good one to call out. That's awesome. I've never seen that before. Tony Cooper wrote into GameScoop at IGN.com, just like you can, listener. But he also wrote into letters at EatSleepPlay.com. Oh, I thought it was a developer. Now that I see it's another site, yeah.
I don't even know what that
Sorry,
is.
Tony
Eat Sleep
Cooper.
Game is
No, I screwed it.
Not Jaffe. No, that's easy to play.
It's Arthur Geese over
It
at
is.
Rebel
It's
FM.
Rebel FM.
Oh my
he's
gosh.
try-
There
he's
you
trying
go.
to get on Rebel FM in
Interesting,
this.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have more luck with Rebel FM.
Yeah, maybe they'll
Yeah.
read your shit over there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anthony
Love you,
Gaes
Arthur.
will do anything for $1. Just send it to him.
You may remember last week we gave you the opportunity to win a $250 Best Buy gift card. All you had to do was send in your best cat gift. We got many good ones.
God.
Which I'll show you a bunch of the best ones at the end of this show. The best one though came from Chris.
Le Vasseur.
He sent in this one.
That's right.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah,
it's really
it's the one you
nice.
emailed out, right?
No, I couldn't. That one's not safe for GameStop.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was like, that one is awesome.
That one, Casey, has a bear lady ass in that
I'll show
one,
it
so
to you.
it's
Well,
probably
it's not an
not
entire
safe.
bear
I
ass.
mean, yeah, sure. It's just not really probably appropriate. Anyway, Chris,
And a
congratulations.
sexy ass.
I will email you the code for your Best Buy gift card. We have another one to give away. The way you win it is a little bit different this week, and Naomi is going to explain exactly how you do it.
Thanks, Damon. So here's how you can win the $250 gift card to Best Buy. We want to see the very best video game GIF you can find. Send it to us at gamescoop@ign.com. We'll pick one winner and notify them by email and then feature it here on the show. This giveaway is powered by Best Buy, where you can pre-order Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and can play it first at select stores. Good luck, everyone. Now back to you, Damon.
Thank you, Naomi. Next week is Grand Theft Auto 5 week, isn't it, Casey?
That's right, yeah. So starting on Monday, we're going to have a plethora of information about GTA 5. We are going to be on GameScoop talking about it. We've got stories galore, talking about the missions, talking about the characters, talking about pretty much everything. So,
Yep.
Just to make sure we don't jinx it, I think we should all wear the same clothes.
I think you're right.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I can definitely plan to do that.
Monday morning, we're all going to be looking like this.
Okay.
Perfect. Leave all these things right here too.
It's true.
Hold on. Now I'm ready.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you can always reach us at gamescoop@ign.com. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.